What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Fear the Walking Dead After Show. We are here talking Season 5, Episode 4, Skidmark. Charlie makes a new friend. Strand, Sarah and Wendell's rescue mission hits a snag. Alicia, Lucy, and Morgan find out the truth about the kids. We're here to talk about all of that. Don't click away.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's going on, Fear fans?
What's up?
We are back on our regularly scheduled time, Monday nights at 8 p.m. We are very, very excited to be back with a full panel, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
I've got some lovely, beautiful people here with me. Krista Flengy.
Hey, guys.
Oh, yay! We got sound effects. April Wissenhand.
Hey, everybody.
And last but not least, Benny Adams.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
What's going on, everybody? How are you guys?
Good.
You guys, we are very excited to talk about the latest episode of Fear the Walking Dead. I want to know all of your overall thoughts of the episode. Did you like it? Did we hate it? Did we about it?
I liked it.
Okay.
I thought it was the best episode so far this season because we learned a lot, and I really liked the whole reference to Rick again towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I thought it was an overall good episode.
Okay.
I liked it, but I think I liked it for all the wrong reasons. So if y'all watch our The Walking Dead after show, which you should because it's amazing, you know how much we all love Rick and how much we missed him. So I'm like, why are they referencing him on this? That I loved it, but I was also like, it's Fear the Walking Dead. But Daniel is, I guess, like kind of my boy now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot. Also, never said the word Skidmark so much in my entire life.
No, yep.
Yeah.
I love that the cat was the starring role this
Yeah.
episode.
Yes,
that was
agreed.
amazing.
Great.
Definitely the
So
MVP of the episode.
It's basically the dog to Daryl,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
which is great that we get to bring the animals back. But yeah, I liked it. I don't think I liked it as much as, say, last week. But I loved, like Benny said, that we learned so much. So I'm, like, super excited to see what we learn coming up from it.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Like I said in the intro, guys, we are talking Charlie, who made a friend, and Daniel tonight. Strand, Sarah, and Wendell are back. I'm very excited to see them, their characters, and talk about them because we mentioned them last episode. And Alicia, Lucy, and Morgan, once again, trying to help people, and it always, just doesn't work out for them.
Just seems to never work.
I want to pick up on Alicia, Lucy, and Morgan first. So they're continuing to look for Al, and Dylan tells them that Al isn't in the woods. Obviously, we don't trust Dylan because of what we found out last episode.
Right.
And he sends Alicia and Morgan on this wild goose chase. Which, did you guys think that was the plan from the get-go, or do you think that this little boy thought of that all on his own? Because they said, we're going to go out this way. And he's like,
Yeah.
no, go this way.
Right.
I think that was like him brainstorming on the spot just so they weren't, because maybe they were headed towards the kids.
Right.
Yeah, so he's just like, let me just free ball it here, which,
Yeah. Because that's pretty impressive
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
how old do you guys think he is?
It has to be like
6, 7.
Right?
Yeah, I
7
have
years
no
old.
idea. It's so
I don't know how
hard
old
for
kids
me to,
are anymore.
like,
Me either.
right, yeah.
Me either.
I think that
Ballpark.
I don't know what he was actually thinking because there's a part of me that thinks like he was just trying to buy time for something else to happen essentially. But I also think he had a clear idea of what he was doing and kind of knew. It's not like he knew sending them in this direction was not going to be the right thing because they're looking for the people in the military uniforms or whatever we'll call them, and he knew that wasn't the right way. So it's kind of like probably a little bit of both, but it's clear that he's not necessarily wanting to do what he's doing. So at least we have like one redeeming child in the bunch.
Yeah.
I just assumed that it was that all 3 of the kids had planned the whole thing out. So the other 2, his brother and sister, told him what to do and what to say to them. So I just assumed that's what happened.
You're right. At some point he does, when he walkies them later, he's like, everything's good. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, is everything going to plan? They may not say that exactly, but they say something to
Yeah.
that extent.
Yeah.
So maybe they did kind of all plan it out. I think for me, it's just he seems too young to like remember, send them the wrong way. And like, because everything's so situational. It's
Yeah.
not like they knew that they were going to ask that either.
Yeah. No,
depends.
I agree with you. But I also agree with Krista. I felt like he's too young to kind of think of all of this on his own.
Yeah.
So maybe they had a backup plan where if they try to go out after us, like he's like, what do they call those people when they plant them in like behind enemy lines. What do they call them? Like,
Yeah, I know what you're thinking.
you know what I'm saying?
I know the word,
Like,
and I
yes,
can't-
but it's like it's a better word than spy.
I know what.
But you
it's
guys know what I'm
on the
talking
tip of
about.
my
Like,
tongue,
yeah, it's like a I don't know, maybe like a Trojan horse or something like that, where
There
they
we go.
sent him in, and then now he's like has to like hear everything that they're planning, and then they told him like, you know, if they are on our tracks, like throw them off. But at the same time, I'm like, well, how long is he gonna be in there? Because
Yeah.
but he can't do that forever.
Right.
So he gets left with Lucy, and her job while she's there is to fix the radio. Or the radio tower, mind you. And she gives him the Little Prince book. Now, does anybody else think that this Little Prince book is bad luck?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah.
But she doesn't care.
Right. Yeah.
She's like, I'll do whatever. Lucy just has this thing about her that an inside man. Thank you to our
Thank
producers.
you.
An
Yes.
inside man.
There you
Oh,
go.
that is
Yes.
awesome.
Got your guys back.
Love it.
That
love
is
it.
awesome.
She obviously she has this weird thing about her where it's clear that she's very genuine in what she's doing. Like she thinks definitely what she's doing is going to help. But I'm also like, haven't you learned?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I just get a bad feeling from this Little Prince book.
I know.
Yeah.
It just always ends up working so perfectly in the situations too. Like at the end of it, where he's like, "Well, how'd they fix or get the plane working?" And
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Oh, really?"
And I don't know about you guys, but I also got a really bad feeling when they left Lucy there with Dylan.
Yeah, I did
I got
too.
like, I know this like the remake of Child's Play is coming out, and I got some serious flashbacks of that movie because
Right?
I was like, he's gonna kill her, and I don't
Could
know
you
how I feel
imagine?
about.
What a
Well, I
twist.
mean, like think about it. Like Lucy's all like bandaged up because she got
Yeah.
impaled by a pole, and
Yeah.
like she's pretty much defenseless because it's a kid, and she doesn't think anything's wrong with him.
Yeah.
She has these weird affections to kids, and I think, and I predicted this last episode about how I don't think she's going to survive the season. I
Yeah.
think that will probably ultimately be her downfall.
The kid.
The
Like
kid.
Yeah.
a kid will kill
That'd
her
be
in some way.
crazy.
Or like her trying to save a kid, or
Something. Yeah.
I mean,
with
Dylan
kids.
did a couple times look a little murderous in his eyes. But I
It's
was like,
always the innocent
He's got a
ones.
Right?
secret. Yeah.
Innocent
it's
ones.
the innocent one that comes out at you with like a fire poker.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Crazy eyes.
clearly he's not the crazy one in this scenario. But
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's actually a really good prediction in thinking that
Yeah.
that's going to be her downfall, because I think at this point she's not making, we do our special segment, what not to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like everything that she does is something not to do.
Right.
Like it's
Every
all very
single
good.
episode.
It's true.
It's been
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good stuff, but like, what are you doing?
I know. And then Lucy is trying to warn Dylan up by getting, like, I guess, information out of him. So I think from the get-go they were a little suspicious about him. And she says, if you want to talk about anything, we can. Obviously, they're still trying to figure out what these kids know in the area that they are, because
Yeah.
these kids have been there for a lot longer than they have. And he goes inside to get electrical tape, and that's when he walkies Max and Annie.
Right.
And then they tell him that somebody else has been cutting down the walkers. And we soon find out that it's the people that in the military uniforms. I also don't know what to call them. I'm like, the black SWAT uniforms.
Right.
I don't know exactly what to
Militiamen,
call them.
Militiamen.
Militiamen.
Militiamen. There you go. That's a good word.
But then that's the same thing as like, oh no, that was the highwaymen. Never mind.
Oh yeah. There we
Too
go.
many groups.
Yeah.
Too many men.
Yes.
Dylan's lie doesn't last for very long, because Alicia and Morgan get to the spot where he points out this random spot on a map, and that's when, and Alicia, always being the smartest person in the group, is like, I don't trust this kid.
Right.
Good.
Something's not right. And then, what did we think about how did you think Alicia was going to handle that when she got back, hypothetically?
I mean,
Do we ever know how Alicia's gonna?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Because
Right.
because Alicia's been that person who, if there is a threat to the group, she pretty much takes care of it. But we've never seen her deal with it if the threat was a kid.
yeah.
Besides Charlie-ish.
Well, yeah, she did go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
But
true. Very
this
true.
is like a totally different situation.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
this Dylan didn't just kill her brother. But I don't know. I think she would have been like, okay, what's really going on here? Obviously, there was nothing there. Like,
Yeah.
talk. And he would have been like, uh-oh, they're on to me. And I think he would have spilled the beans regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, we did kind of, like, as soon as they got back, we, figured it out, basically, because of what else happened. But I think that with this, it's not like she's going to go back and beat the kid.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but I doubt it. Like,
Spanking
he
her,
also,
too.
but you made me think of this when you said the thing about him pointing to the location on the map. Aren't you like, this kid is 6-ish? You
Yeah.
think he's going to know how to do this?
true.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, like you said last week, Benny, they have been growing up in it, and this is all they know, but, like, he was not going to be able to pick out that spot on the map. But I'm happy that they just kind of like glazed over it, and then we immediately got to everything else.
Yeah, I'm glad that she showed sympathy towards the kids, because you kind of saw how it was going towards that direction from the last episode, where she wanted to, talk to the kids, to tell them her story about her mom. So, I liked how she had some sympathy. For them.
So his lie unravels pretty fast, because now we find out that he tells them his brother and sister aren't dead, which we already knew, but they didn't. I guess I kind of lost that, though, because I thought that they just assumed that they were hurt and not dead. So when he was like, oh, my brother and sister aren't dead, I was like, wait, did they believe that they were dead?
I thought they believed that they were dead.
You did?
Yeah.
But just because of the scenario that they found him in, like with the guts and all the blood everywhere. And I don't think it was ever actually discussed. Like, we hear them ask, like, what happened, but he never says anything. So I, insinuated that they were trying to make them think that they were dead.
Yeah.
But...
Which is just crazy, because it's like, how long did you expect him to be with them? And then how are you going to do, like, if that went on for as long as it was supposed to, wouldn't they have been like, no, you have to come with us. No one's left. Yeah.
They clearly didn't plan that.
They're kids. It's fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
They were, whatever.
So we find out that Max and Annie are also in a heap of trouble on their own, because the people that untied the walkers, they get loose and attack Annie. And she winds up getting hurt. Surprise, surprise. I never understand how they get knocked over and all of a sudden they're hurt. Do you guys think it's because a walker, who is essentially a grown adult, falling on somebody would hurt? But it's always like the ankle. It's always like, oh, my leg.
They sprained their ankle.
Yeah.
I even read a thing today that was like, Annie sprains her ankle. And I was like, how many sprained ankles have we seen? But then it's over in like a day.
Yes.
So, it's not a grave injury, but it's like an ouch, I can't run away.
Yeah. Did anybody think that we were going to lose either Annie or Max in this episode?
No, it's too early.
Okay.
I do think we're gonna lose at least one of them, but I didn't think we're gonna lose them right now in this episode.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Whenever we see the militiaman in the street, he's the one that I guess initially tore them down. That's when I was like, oh, he's definitely gonna hear them. If they're this well trained and they have all this stuff, like two little kids in the woods that are, however many feet away aren't going to get away. But I guess
I was kind of shocked that he just even when the phone or walkie went off, I was like, oh, yeah, this is it for you too. And then I was like, oh, no, you didn't hear that enough? Okay.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be definitely a little bit more of something with the Black Swap Militia guy. I don't even know. That's what we're calling it, Black Swap Militia guy.
Yep, I love it.
But then, obviously, they squashed that really quick. I think that they're probably saving it for like a big climax moment later on in the episode. But Annie and Max have a close call, and that's, of course, when Alicia and Morgan come rescue them just in time.
Just in the nick of time.
But we find out that it's not just these three kids. It's a whole bunch of kids. So my prediction of last episode is Lord of the Flies, Children of the Corn, definitely going on.
Yes.
In this episode, did anybody else feel eerily creeped out that it's a bunch of kids?
Yeah. Well, okay, so did they actually say in the episode that the walkers in the field that they found were the kids' parents?
Yeah.
They did say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the cabin that they found? Remember where the radiation,
like
the people were trained by the radiation.
Yeah.
So why
are the kids all
I'm confused as to why the kids are alive, but all the parents aren't. Maybe not all the kids are alive, but obviously still a good sprinkling of the kids.
That are
and
alive.
0 parents. Like, why?
The parents probably, this is just me thinking, like, the parents probably tried to save them and had them go somewhere to be safe, maybe.
That makes sense.
And then the parents, decided to go somewhere else because they knew their time was almost up.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I know, we need to see or at least be told the scenario that unfolded, because I have questions.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's like their own little, I'm probably going to get killed for saying this, but this is what I thought. I was like, this is like their own little, like, orphanage almost. Like, it's all these kids banded together, living together. Like, they have weapons. They have clothes, whether or not it's the same
It's their
clothes.
weapons.
Right, exactly.
No, like Alicia and Morgan's and that group's weapons.
Oh, yeah,
remember,
you're
because
right,
she said
you're
put down
right.
our
Okay.
guns.
Oh,
I thought that was some shade, by the way, from
That was
Alicia. She was
shade.
like, can you put down our guns, please? I was like, oh.
Sure, I guess.
So they stole their guns, which means just that they're resourceful. I don't think they're going to get in trouble at all. They are pretty much an orphanage.
No,
It's a bunch of kids.
that's what I mean. But, like, even if they are their guns, meaning Alicia and the groups, like, they still have guns. Or they still have weapons at this point. Like, they did something. So I'm like, this is a little, like, rowdy bunch of kids doing stuff. And the way that they quickly formed around Alicia and Morgan. I don't remember where Dylan was at this point, but like it's clear that they know what they're doing, that they've been doing this, and that they've had this plan or whatever for a long time. But there are just so many questions that obviously we all have about it, because I'm like, so why are y'all still here?
Yeah. Well, they kind of addressed that in the end of the episode, which brings me to my next point, was that, you know, the kids don't want to leave because of their parents.
Right.
And we've seen this before, because Alicia and Morgan talk about it in the episode, and how it was so hard for him to kill his wife, Jenny, who he mentions by name, which I love.
I love that part.
I love that part too. And his son, Dwayne, who once again also mentions by name. I like it when they use the names because it makes it more specific.
Yeah.
And it brings us, obviously, all of us back to, you know, season 1 of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And I love that moment because it's pretty much a vulnerable point for Morgan, because that was a really dark place for him where he literally couldn't even, I'm going to say this in a really bad way, but put down his wife. Because that's his wife. So could you imagine these poor kids can't put down their parents because it's their parents.
Right.
I love that they addressed that.
And I mean, we've seen it so many different times happen in the show throughout The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. You know, you got to think of people keeping their family in the barn. Then we had another family scenario in the barn. And then there was all of this stuff. But this is the one that kind of makes the most sense out of all. And because you can quickly see, like, Morgan ended up being able to put down his wife because she bit his son. And all of these other instances, it's like these people are, you know, adults trying to get at you, and the adults are the ones wanting to kill them. But it's so different when it's kids and when it's very specific people. And now it's like they're kind of doing the makeup of the walkers a little different. They're obviously still like very, very dead zombies, but sometimes you can still tell who they are. Like Morgan's wife, which this was at the very beginning, obviously, you could tell who
Still
she
looked like-
was.
yes.
So it's kind of the case for them. It's like, if they're not hurting anyone, why do it? Like, they're just kids.
No, I agree with you. That's a good point. Before we go on to our next topic, I'm going to shoot it over to Benny.
Yes, we have some exciting news for you guys. We just want to let you know how grateful we are for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. And in order for us to grow even more, we need your help. So if you're on YouTube right now, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. If you're on iTunes listening to us, go ahead and give us a 5-star rating. Working at AfterBuzz means so much to us, and we just want to continue to learn and grow and give you guys amazing content. So go ahead, keep watching us, and we'll keep on giving you guys great content.
Oh, yeah.
We love you guys. I'm going to shoot it over to April in a second for some shout-outs for everybody who's in the chat. But we do the show for you guys. I mean, we wouldn't have the show if it wasn't for you guys. So we're going to continue the conversation. April, who's in our chat tonight?
We have DA in it right now. We got a lot of people in it, but no one commenting. But so let us know what you thought, because we want to know. We obviously have so many thoughts, but we always want to know what our viewers think, because, you know, we're crazy sometimes.
Yeah, we are.
We need somebody to tame us.
Yes, and we love hearing all of your thoughts as well. So I want to talk about Daniel, because Daniel's got a pretty good setup, and we showed a lot of his character and a lot of backstory of his character. And Benny, you said this in the beginning, you really liked it because we found out a lot of things. We definitely found out a lot about Daniel. Like you said, Krista, Skidmark was by far the MVP.
He was the star, for sure.
They have like their little routine worked out. It's great.
It was great. I mean, I didn't expect him to have all of this with a cat.
Right?
I mean,
you
cool.
take friends where you can get them in an apocalypse.
True.
I guess.
But like he's by himself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
He's
Just
like
him and a cat.
Daryl's dog.
Literally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like nobody else.
No,
He's by himself.
But he's not struggling. I mean, he's got a stockpile of weapons, a stockpile of food. He's got this huge warehouse. He's got a plane. I mean, he's pretty much set.
I want to live with him.
He also has a calendar, you guys. Now, it didn't show a year, which I thought was pretty clever.
Yeah.
But it did have a date on it. It was October 12th. I want to know if you guys think that this is an accurate date, or if you think that Daniel just found this calendar and he's doing it just for his own sanity of like passing by each day.
Daniel's pretty smart, and I could see him he has figured it out, and that maybe it is accurate. And it's also, even if it isn't, he's like counting down, or like it's also like I think it works with the quote he had passed on to Charlie about what he wanted to tell his daughter. But also it's like every day they like made it a point to see him ripping it out and being like, so it's got to have some significance.
It's a good way to be able to like keep up with just the passing of an actual year.
Yeah.
Because clearly calendars aren't being made anymore at this point. So it's like every year, you know, the days get off, even though they're the same amount of days in a month.
Right.
But it's a good way to be able to be like, okay, now it's 2019 versus whatever.
Sometime in December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think it just keeps him sane, you know, in this
Yeah.
crazy world that he lives in. Like, it's like the one normal thing he can do.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he was doing it.
I agree with you guys. So Strand, we knew that he wasn't going to give up on this plane.
Right.
They sneak back him, Charlie, Wendell, and Sarah. And I'm really glad that they brought back Wendell and Sarah in an episode because I was
love
like, well,
them.
I do love them. The way that they talk, the way that
Yeah.
they talk to each other is like one of my favorite things to watch. And they are on a mission. They have a mission to get this plane, but they send Charlie in first. And
I loved it.
I liked it too. I liked it too. The only thing that I had a gripe about it was that she hid in the car,
car, yeah.
that he was going to. Like, how do you, out of all the places to hide, it's a
Yeah.
huge warehouse, it's a huge backyard, yet you go into the car.
Because she's Charlie. Like, that's what Charlie would do. Obviously, I'm still holding a grudge against her. But, like, how Daniel's like, how dare you send in a kid? I'm like, yeah, she deserves to go in.
Doesn't she
She's a
kind of
smart
remind
kid.
you of what's his name, Rick Grimes' son?
Carl.
Carl.
Yeah.
A little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good
She
point.
kind of
That is a
reminds
good
me of
point.
him.
But I think, like, that's what she does. At this point, everyone has to contribute. You
Yes.
know? The adults there are not her parents, and they're not even the slightest parental figures, but even they have like a second of pause. But I'm glad that she was like, no, this is what I did, this is what I'm good at, let me go, and that they actually let her go. Clearly, I mean, she did the dumb thing by going into the back of his car, but I'm like, maybe she didn't know, but I'm pretty sure she knew.
I mean, I honestly, looking back on it, I didn't know that he was going to go into the car. I thought he
Yeah.
was just going outside to do
Yeah.
an environment check or like a security check.
See why Skidmark wouldn't shut up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I didn't really think he was going to get into the car, but Daniel is always one step ahead. So he knew that they were outside, A. B, he knew that they were going to come back for the plane. And so he leaves a note that says, I already said no, Channel 8. And he leaves that for them after Strand finds out that the flight instruments are not on the
Yeah.
plane.
Right.
And he knew that Charlie was in the back of the truck the entire time. Are we surprised that Daniel is this smart?
No.
No.
No. So he's always kind of had a leg up on everyone, and he's been able to do things that like other people just haven't. I mean, whenever he was left in the I don't know, pit, let's say. I forget what it was exactly. Like, we were all so shocked because, like, if anyone, he was the one that was going to figure out a way out of that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
the
was
basement.
like, the basement,
Yes.
yeah. But I was like, oh, he's dead now. But look, he did figure it out. He just seems to have a way of doing everything. And the thing I think why I keep saying, like, he's alone is because how has he survived this long without no one attacking him? Like,
Right.
one person in this area, I mean, maybe it would happen eventually, but I mean,
He's just so resourceful.
Yeah.
Also, I wouldn't want to cross him, but other people don't know that. So, yeah.
True.
yeah.
Yeah, he's gone through so much in his life, you know, and that just builds up experience, and so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the moment that I loved, one of my favorite moments in the episode was the Charlie and Daniel moment. I don't know why. Maybe you guys could help me put my finger on it. But once he finds out that she's in the back of the truck, they have this kind of bonding moment about, she's asking about the traps that he was, kind of disarming in the beginning of the episode with Skidmark. And, they listen to the music together, and she says she's going to help him, with these traps. I don't know why it was just so touching to me. I don't know if it's
No,
because
I
he
liked
lost
it.
his daughter, and maybe this is like a daughter figure for him. How
I
did
think
you
it's
guys
also
feel?
like he's been alone for so long too.
yeah.
Well, we don't know exactly how long, what he's been up to, but it's
Right.
just like having that companionship. And I think at first he's so closed off to be like, okay, just keep your mouth shut back there, whatever. But I think it's like, oh yeah, there's still people out there. Like, and I think it also made Strand's whole ordeal more relatable. He's like, oh, these people he's helping, they're genuine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that for him, in the non-weirdest way possible, he just has a special affection for kids.
Yeah.
And I think specifically with her because she's female and he had a daughter and she's young, and it's almost like a starting all over thing. Not
Yeah.
starting all over. I'm not predicting that or anything. I don't think that would happen, but it's just the sense of him being like, who's the one person that he is definitely not going to hurt if
Yeah.
they're hiding in the back of his truck trying to steal his plane?
Yeah.
The kid.
Yeah.
It's not, if it would have been anyone else, he probably would have shot him on spot. But I think they did that well, and that's how they actually brought some good stuff out of him
Yeah.
for us to see as viewers, is because they brought along the one person who he would actually help and want to help.
Yeah, and he definitely saw some innocence in her.
Yeah.
Like, he knew that, this, he even said it. He said that Strand was the adult in this situation, so he knows that there's some innocence in her, and he just wants to help her out.
Yeah.
Which is really funny to me because if he knew everything that she's done so far, she literally killed somebody, you guys. She killed Nick. I mean, hello.
Someone he knew.
When you said that, that's all I thought. I was like, ooh, if he only knew.
So I was like, I mean, innocence, yes,
She's
because
not
she's
so
a child,
innocent.
but she's not that innocent, you guys.
Right.
But at the same time, like, and this is the one thing that I always have a hard time with Daniel is that he's been holding on to this whole thing with Strand for the longest time.
Yeah.
And it's not like Strand killed Ophelia. He just miscommunicated her or misled him to believe that he knew where she was. So it's the zombie apocalypse, you guys. I mean, you're going to do what you need to do to survive.
Yeah.
And it's
And
not like
he
he
should
betrayed
know
him
that.
Thank you. Because he's done worse. And we've seen it in the first season where, all these flashbacks of him in war and killing children. Like, we saw all of it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, come on.
Yeah.
This holier-than-thou attitude from Daniel it makes me mad. It really
And
does.
I mean, he walked up like 2 seconds later. It's not like he was that late.
Yeah.
But then again,
True.
It's his daughter.
I think it's his daughter.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
kind of agree. If it was anyone else, I would have been like, dude, get over it.
Yeah.
But since it's his daughter, I kind of give him a little leeway.
Yeah. So Charlie decides to help Daniel kind of disarm these traps and everything like that. And we find out more about Charlie as well, about how she used to do the same thing, which she would steal from the dead to kind of survive. And we find out that Daniel didn't kill the guy whose warehouse he got this from.
Right.
The warehouse guy was killing people, and then maybe he did kill him.
He inherited it
So
from the
essentially,
guy.
I think he did probably kill him.
Yeah.
Probably because he was killing all these other people, these innocent people, and then stockpiling their stuff or keeping them in the place that he killed them to stockpile their stuff. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting because we're seeing that Daniel has really A, changed, and B, he's not this mean killer that we thought he was going to be coming back.
Right. Could his warehouse have any connection to the other warehouse?
I wonder.
That they just the guy just took back. I forgot his name, but
The
other
sea
part of the
and-
sea.
yeah.
I just thought about that when you said it, he inherited it. I'm like, ooh, I wonder if that could be why is there just this huge warehouse?
Yeah, because we
That'd be
technically
crazy,
don't
but-
know what happened to the guy.
Right.
If
Yeah.
he's dead, if he...
Conversation for
Yeah.
another day. But
Conversation for
it just
another
popped
day.
into my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that at another time.
Yeah.
So the walkers that are trapped in this location get out because of the gun booby trap that this guy set up, and Strand thinks that it's a good idea to lead these walkers back to the warehouse to pick them off one by one instead of just leaving them where they are, which would just create more of a herd,
Right.
which would just hurt more people. So everybody, I feel has a mission to help people on Fear the Walking Dead. Benny, what were you going to say?
My whole thing is, why couldn't they just run them over with the car?
I was thinking the same
They
thing.
did it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole time, I'm like, this makes no
Run
sense.
them over. You're in a car, especially when they had Al's vehicle.
Yeah.
They
That
could
part.
have easily run him over, and they could have still had the plane.
Yep.
To save the other people.
Yeah.
We weren't brainstorming well during that entire ordeal.
Yeah, no, not at all. But what I loved is the fact that it kind of made Charlie and Daniel bond just a little bit longer because they had more time together.
Right.
And I think that's what the writers ultimately wanted because we
Yeah.
could easily say, yeah, just run them over in that moment.
Right.
I do agree in the later moments we're going to talk about, but I wanted to see how this was going to unfold. And Daniel essentially sacrifices himself so that Charlie can get back to the warehouse
Right.
without the walkers following her. And this is when we kind of see the beginning of the end of this feud between Strand and Daniel, where, Daniel lets Strand know that, hey, this is what I did, and then Strand is sitting there going, you know what? You don't need to do this. You don't
Right.
need to sacrifice yourself for us. You can come with us. And that's when we see that Strand is like, you know what? No, we're going to go help him after
Yeah.
Charlie gets back, and is like, no, we can't just leave him out there.
Right.
Did you think that they were actually going to leave him there, or do you think it was predictable that they were going to go rescue him?
I think they had to rescue him at that point. We all know that Daniel's never just gonna. I didn't necessarily think he was sacrificing himself.
Yeah.
If he died, he would have died. But
Yeah.
we all know he's gonna do whatever he can to live. But I think that there's nothing else that they could have done.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
had to go back and save him just for to be a good person, but also because the show
Yeah.
has to go on that
Yes.
way.
Also, Strand, you can't after everything that Daniel said about you, that you'd be like the worst person in the world to be like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
well, bye. You know,
That's very
whatever.
true. But I
Yeah,
mean, yes,
he could
yes.
have, though,
He could have
easily. So I was like, thankfully he did not go that route, because I would have been like, yeah.
I did not think they were gonna go and rescue him, but I did think that he was gonna find a way to get out of the
Yes.
situation that he was in. So it was a shock to me when they did go and rescue him.
Yeah.
With the plane that was supposed to help their friends.
Yes. Before we jump to that, I did skip over something, a very poignant moment where Strand walkies Daniel apologizing for everything that he's done. And, you know, they talk about Ophelia, and this is when we find out the most about Daniel and how he's not over Ophelia's death.
Right.
And I say that we find out that it's a shock, but it's really not, because I mean, it's a parent who lost a child. Of course, you wouldn't be over it, but it's Daniel, and he's always been like this. He's survived war. He survived his wife's death. He survived a zombie apocalypse. He's been on his own. So I thought after all this time, he would have been over Ophelia's death.
Yeah.
And I could not fathom why he held this grudge against Daniel, and then it all comes to a head when Daniel's like, you know, I apologize, and he makes him say it out loud to the strangers, and the strangers are all sitting there like, that's it?
Right.
Yeah.
Like
They're like,
Wendell, Sarah, and
oh.
Charlie are like, that's all he did?
Right.
Like, what?
Okay.
That was one of my favorite parts of the episode, actually, their reaction.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you watch and, you know, they're telling the story as if everyone's going to be like, but when he
Right.
starts to say it, it's like, I told him his daughter was in a different place and yada, yada, yada. And literally all of their faces were like, okay.
Yeah. Charlie was like, I killed someone.
They're like, cool
Killed a
story,
man.
bro. Cool story.
right.
Yeah, I was just like, it was a little, I mean, I don't know. I guess, Daniel has, you know, his reasons for being angry, but I feel like he's held on to this
Yeah.
for longer than he needed
Man
to.
can hold a grudge.
He really can.
I mean, he totally blames her death, obviously, on
Yes.
Strand.
Of course.
It's not as if someone else killed her or if she died because of a walker or
Yeah.
this or this or this. It's as if Strand killed her. So,
Right.
like, you're
Yes.
going to hold on to that for a very long time. But I
Yeah.
think now he's, like, actually realizing, okay, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She didn't die
and I think it
because
was
of him.
more like him because of Strand losing the opportunity to say that one thing he really
Yes.
wanted to say, which,
Yeah.
as a father and whatever, he was like, that was my chance and you took it from me, but
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sarah and Wendell really wanted to save the day with the SWAT truck that Al left them. left, you know, unintentionally, of course.
Right.
And they come up, and of course it jams. So what
The
is-
one time.
The one time. So what does Daniel do? He runs up to it, but doesn't run behind it, doesn't run into it. He literally waits
my
till the
gosh.
last possible second to try to get in, and then
Right.
obviously that doesn't work, so he goes underneath it. And that's when Strand comes with the plane on the back of the trailer and kind of lures the walkers to the plane by turning on the rotors. What did you guys think of that scene?
Okay, first off, during this part, I was literally yelling at my screen saying,
Right.
run faster. Why are you running so slow, man?
Right.
Like, you didn't trip and fall and hurt your
Right?
ankle.
Yeah.
I was, what is going on?
yeah.
But, yeah, I'm glad, I knew he was going to be safe. Like, I knew he wasn't going to get bit by a walker or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just wanted to. I was screaming when he turned on the propellers. I'm like,
Yes.
I was like, okay, so kill a few and then start shooting them.
Yes.
Like, kill a few to
Yeah.
get them off your back. But I'm like,
He blended every single one of them.
Yeah.
all of them. But I'm like,
Blended them.
they have dealt. How many of them were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, 2 people have killed more walkers than
Yes.
that in an instant.
Yes.
Like, but you chose to ruin the plane.
Plane. The one thing that we
on.
did, literally, we did all of this work to get this plane, and then you decide that you want to use it to get all these walkers in essentially just ruining the entire plane.
Right.
Which I
Yeah.
knew was going to happen. As soon as he turned the
course.
rotors on, I was like, the plane's, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
That's like a
big
bird.
fan of
That's not a
bird.
bird,
You can't
yeah.
do it. I was, so the plane is essentially out of commission, which I
Yeah.
was really upset about because I'm like, well,
Well, and it needs a wash.
Yeah.
Gross.
Dirty.
That was nasty.
agreed. I just really, it was just a very frustrating moment because I was like,
Yeah.
like you said, April, there were so many other ways that they could have handled this group of walkers.
The truck.
The
Right
truck,
there,
they
the
could
truck.
have
Could've
run
ran
them
them
over.
Run 'em over.
Yeah.
They could have used the plane on top of it to put the propellers on for this noise and then backed up the truck and like lured the
Yeah.
walkers away to get
They could
inside
have
to
gotten
get to the
out
truck.
and started using their knives.
They're-
Like, I mean, come on.
Or Daniel could have just ran faster and
Yeah.
got into the car and
Or he could have ran
drove
behind
away.
and went into the truck with Charlie and
Yeah.
like
Right?
there's
Yeah.
so many options.
But I guess the bigger point is that they rescued him.
Yes.
They bring him back to the warehouse where he essentially says that he has to go and find, the reason why he's been there for so long is there's a reason, and he has to go do it on his own. I really thought it was endearing that Charlie wanted to go with him, and he was like, no. Also, you can't smoke the cigars, which I thought was really funny, because he's like, don't smoke my cigars.
Yeah.
Take care of Skidmark.
Right.
And take care of Skidmark. He left the cat, which I thought was another thing that was surprising. Because I was like,
Your only friend?
Yeah.
You left behind?
You didn't have to leave the cat.
I think the cat annoyed him today with the whole ruining their last trap, so he was like, we need a break.
Yeah. And then we find out at the end of the episode, the helicopter with the same symbols on it. And we obviously know that is tied back to The Walking Dead.
Or airplane.
Exactly. So a lot of things in this episode, you guys.
So many.
It was good.
That dang helicopter, man.
That dang helicopter. And they are obviously asking, what are they looking for? What is this helicopter looking for? What do these kids know about this helicopter?
Right.
We have a lot of things to talk about.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know. Anybody else have any last thoughts on the episode, you guys, before we move into special segments?
It's a great episode.
No? It was a good episode. I
good.
really
We
enjoyed
learned
it.
stuff.
Let's move on to our special segment, our first special segment called Our Favorite Kill of the Episode. Thank you, Ryan, our wonderful engineer. Who was your favorite kill this episode, you guys?
I'm going to go with, I don't know why. It's not my favorite. I'm actually semi-making fun of it. But when Daniel was underneath the truck and he takes his knife and he stabbed the walker like...
It's super slow.
Right.
I was like, that's the slowest kill I've ever seen. I'm like, you need to be jabbing those things. That was my favorite one.
Okay.
Mine was when the kids are trying to escape from the walkers after she twisted her ankle, and then they come to save the day, and that was a pretty epic one.
Yeah, that was cool.
Alicia killed like two at the same time. She's got this two at the same time thing down.
Right.
She does.
I thought it was pretty cool.
I liked when Skidmark and Daniel had their routine during the first trap, and Skidmark would get the attention of the walker, and then he'd come behind and kill him. I was like, what a little duo you two made.
Right?
That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm just gonna say the obvious. The plane killing all the walkers and blending them, as Krista eloquently said, was pretty awesome. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's strawberry soup.
Yes, stupidly done, and now we don't have a plane, but it was still pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was epic.
I want to move on to our next special segment, or How Not to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse. This is our segment where we pick out a moment in the episode where something that you wouldn't do to survive a zombie apocalypse.
I mean, obvious one, get in the back of Daniel's car when you're supposed to be there to let them in, but, whatever. So Charlie.
Yes,
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
I'm going to go with not using the propellers.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
we
I
can
mean,
Yes.
that was just dumb.
Yes. Agreed.
When zombies are chasing you,
Run faster.
run fast.
That's a
I
great
think you
one.
just want it
Don't
right there.
skedaddle.
I think that's the best one.
Run.
No, that was
Put on your tennies. Yeah.
That was gonna be mine too. It's like, what? Run! I mean, you've had all this time to work on your cardio, and you haven't. Like, what's happening? So those are our special segments, guys. Let us know who your favorite kill was of the episode, and how you would not survive a zombie apocalypse. We're gonna move on to our news and gossip segment right now.
Yeah, so we have a couple of things for our news and gossip segment. As we all know, there are going to be a couple of movies coming up soon about what happened to Rick Grimes. They're going to be centered around Rick Grimes. A couple of the cast members have said that they would be down to be in that crossover movie.
Amazing.
Who would say no?
Yeah,
Right.
so Morgan, Lenny James who plays Morgan.
Of course.
He wants to be in everything.
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah.
Put me in
He
the
said,
new spin-off.
I miss working with him. He was a great person to work with. Ruben Blades, who plays Daniel Salazar, he said he would love to do it.
That's
That'd be kinda
interesting.
cool.
That's a movie
That'd be
I'd
cool.
watch.
Yeah, right.
He was saying that since Al was probably taken from them, that she's probably gonna be in them.
Yeah.
He's not confirming it, but he was
course.
saying I could see her being in them.
Yeah.
And then the girl who plays Charlie said she would love to do it.
Oh.
So that
she
would be
would.
pretty. That would be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And then one more thing. So this isn't confirmed, but a lot of people are saying this. It was the moment in the show where where we see the cigar.
Yes.
And he says you can take anything but the cigar. So a lot of people are saying there's a connection between Daniel and Abram, because Abram smoked. I like that. Abram smoked the same cigars in The Walking Dead.
Abraham.
Yeah. And he's from Texas.
Yes.
Oh.
So there's that connection. And before the whole crossover thing was happening, there was a rumor that Abraham was going to be the person to
That
cross
was,
over.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
whoa.
That'd be
Shout
kinda
out to
cool.
Javier Quintanilla in the chat because he literally said it's the cigar to reference Abraham.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Look
you
at
never
that.
Interesting.
you never know. There might be like a flashback episode.
Yeah.
That'd be
with
cool.
him
That'd be
coming
cool.
up.
That'd be
Yeah.
I miss
Yeah.
Abraham, so that'd be amazing.
I do miss Abraham. I loved Abraham's character. I love all of your news and gossip. The
I know,
only thing
you
that I
have
always
sense,
have a
man.
problem with is these news and gossip segments. Not ours, but like just in general,
Yeah.
is that they overplay them so much. Like they're talking about these movies, they're talking about these movies so much. It's the same thing when they did with the crossovers. It's like they talk about these crossovers so much that when it actually happens, it's
You're like,
not that
"Oh."
surprising.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they don't keep talking about these movies because I'm
Right.
like, I want to at least be surprised when they come out and
Right.
be surprised
what
of what they're
happens,
about.
yeah.
Exactly. So I hope they don't leak too much about these movies.
True.
I want to go into our next segment, our prediction segment. Clearly, a lot of our predictions
Predictions.
have pretty much come true in this episode. You know, we've got the Children of the Corn thing going on. We've got a lot of stuff happening. Any predictions after this episode?
I think Daniel absolutely could be connected to the group somehow. Not connected to the militiamen.
Black
people.
militiamen.
wow.
Yes, because it just makes sense now that you're saying that. Like he hasn't been, a character that's been on Fear the Walking Dead permanently or as a main character in a while. So he could kind of be easy to be like, okay, I did this great stuff with the characters that I had these issues with or the whatever on Fear the Walking Dead. So kind of send me elsewhere.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, I think we're gonna learn more about those people who took Al. What do we call
Yeah.
them? The
Yeah, the
militia.
militiamen.
The militiamen.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna learn more about them. I have a feeling that what if they're trying to figure out a way to stop this whole Walker
Yeah.
Yeah.
infestation? So that would be pretty crazy.
That would
That'd
be
be
really cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think going off of what Benny said, I think we're going to see Al, but probably not until the end. But I think her journalistic skills is she's going to get some info from them or the Commonwealth, as we assume they are.
Yeah.
And then hopefully she can report back to the group. But
Well,
we're going to have to wait.
Not to put a pin in your prediction, Krista, but we do see in the preview for next episode that we're going to
Yeah.
see Al. It's pretty much an
See?
episode all about
So there
Al.
we go.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're not going to wait until the
Yeah.
end of the episode or mid-season finale to show what's been happening with her. So
Right.
maybe we'll get more about these militiamen in black.
Yeah.
A little
I don't
bit
think they're going to
more.
be reunited, the whole group, until
No,
later.
no.
But yes, hopefully Al
Yeah.
has some info for us. I hope
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
Those are good predictions,
her
you guys.
skills.
We want to know everybody's predictions who's watching. Guys, leave us a comment in the chat. Make sure you Instagram us or tweet at us, whatever you want to do. I want to let you guys tell them where our fans can find you.
Hey guys, you can find me all over social media at Krista Flungy.
I just have to say this one more thing. Javier Quintanilla says Al also had a tape that was labeled Abe and the Doctor. I'm April Wilson-Hand. You can find me everywhere at April
Very
Wilson-Hand.
nice. I am Benny Adams. You can find me on all social media at Benny J Adams.
I'm glad you snuck that in there.
Yeah,
April.
that's awesome.
I am Timothy Michael. You can find me everywhere at I am Timothy Mike. We will see you guys next week, Monday nights at
See
8
you
p.m.
guys later.
Bye, guys.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.